Today on Film Riot, the hit film team takes over the show, so enjoy.
Jarvis, you there?
At your service, ma'am.
Engage heads-up display.
Check.
Import preferences from work interface.
Will do, ma'am. All systems functioning normally.
Alright, what do you say?
I've indeed been uploaded, ma'am. We're online and ready. Beginning virtual walkthrough.
What is she doing?
Let's face it, this is not the worst thing we call her doing in the office.
Sometimes you gotta run before you can walk.
How much do you think that helmet cost?
Now beyond operational limits, ma'am.
What jeepers!
The cool thing about making a HUD shot is that it's actually pretty simple to do. We're going to take you through how to shoot it and get amazing results in post without spending any money.
So in this case, Kirsty is standing on black, but you could shoot it against green screen if you want like the HUD elements to go behind the head or something like that. But if you're not doing that, and most of the time you don't need to, save yourself a lot of trouble in post and just shoot against black.
You're going to want to spend some time setting up your camera and your lights because that's what's going to make this shot look authentic.
Framing your shot and choosing the appropriate lens are really important for this shot. If you actually go back and look at all the different Iron Man HUDs in the different movies, they're all different. We've kind of based this on Age of Ultron.
Yeah, what's the vibranium for?
What you want to do is crop in really tight. You're maybe going to chop off the top of the head, maybe the bottom of the chin, but this doesn't matter. You're really focusing in on the eyes and the mouth.
The thing is, you can't just put your camera right in front of your actor. If you shoot on a wide lens and you move the camera in really close, you're going to exaggerate the size of everything.
When you're actually watching Stark inside the suit, you don't really ever feel like you're going to get poked in the eye by his massive nose. This is because they're moving the camera back a bit. They're using a longer lens and zooming in. This flattens out the perspective, so the distance between, say, his ears and the tip of his nose looks much smaller.
Next thing, you're going to want to focus on your lighting. In the films, they're focused on the front of the face and everything else drops away to darkness.
So the way we set up this shot was with a really bright light from above. There was then a diffuser and then a reflector below to take some of that light and shine it on the underside of Kirsty's face. We then concentrated on the eyes. What we did is we put two flags between the light and the diffuser to create a harder edge that would then reflect in the eyes and create that iconic V shape.
You may have noticed in the final shot that it looks like my face is illuminated by the different colours in the HUD. That's because we did that in post. Here's Simon to tell you how.
Hi, this is our starting point, Kirsty's face. From here we colour correct to give it a warmer look, and then we go seriously hot with some curves tweaks before applying a tracked mask to darken down everything except her face. The HUD is created using a mixture of animated elements, which are then arranged into the HUD design that you see in the movies. A whole bunch of grading is added to make it nice and glowy, and then it's composited back onto the face. But for any of this to be possible, HitFilm first needs to work out the movement of Kirsty's face.
And there's various different ways you can do this, some of them pretty complex. But it turns out that with this shot there are some unique characteristics that actually make it pretty easy.
First up, I'll track the face movement in 2D. Tracking an eyebrow works pretty well, but any stable feature is going to work fine. This shows why everything is a lot easier if your actor doesn't turn their head too much. You don't really want them going beyond about 45 degrees because you want your feature to be visible and trackable throughout the shot. This track is nice and quick, and once it's done we can output it to a new point layer.
If you were born on the other side of the tracks, then you're going to be looking for a null layer. We call it point layers because, well, it is a point, isn't it? Anyway, you're probably thinking, but Simon, this is only a 2D track. How can it possibly give us the information we need for a 3D HUD? Well, that's the sneaky bit.
We have our 2D tracked point. I'm now going to create a second point layer, and this one I'm going to switch to being 3D. This point I'm going to position so that it's in the center of Kirsty's head. by moving it back in space from its default position and up to between her eyebrows. So here's the interesting bit. I'm now going to use the alignment tools in HitFilm to tell the 3D point to look at our original 2D tracked point. This means that as the 2D point moves around the frame, the 3D point will always rotate to look at it. The 2D point is basically going, "Over here! Hey! Hey!" And the 3D point's all like, yeah, Star Wars references in an Iron Man tutorial is totally fine because Disney owns everything. I can now drag on my UI elements, set them to screen blend, put them into 3D, and parent them to our 3D point. Then all I need to do is offset their anchor point so that they're back in front of Kirsty's face, and their animation will be driven automatically by our tracking setup. If you want some info on how to actually design the HUD stuff in the first place, we've got an extended tutorial over on the HitFilm channel. With the complicated bit done and turning out to be not actually all that complicated, all that remains is to add on a bunch of grading effects to create the final look. Glows, vignettes, and HitFilm 4 Express's new Action Cam Lens Distort work rather nicely. That Action Cam Lens Distort effect is actually designed to work with GoPro cameras, but it works really well for this too. Meanwhile, the 3D track we already have can also drive the custom mask shape. I just got a black plane, cut a hole in it, feathered it out, and then linked it up to that 3D point, and it was pretty much good to go. If you want to go even more to town, you can use the enhanced glows, flares, and lighting effects found in Express add-ons or in its big brother HitFilm 4 Pro. We'll be covering how HitFilm 4 Pro is used for some of the advanced effects in the sketch, like the repulsor boots, in episodes over on the HitFilm YouTube channel, so do keep an eye out for that. But the main thing is that the central visual effect of the sketch, the heads-up display, can be accomplished entirely in the free version of HitFilm 4 Express without needing anything else.
We've got more detailed tutorials on how to do the Iron Man HUD over on our channel, where you'll find project files and high-resolution downloads of all the cool UI designs that Josh put together for the sketch.
We put out new videos every week on YouTube, from practical filmmaking tips to visual effects tutorials.
There's going to be tips on how to get the best out of your camera, how to light a scene, even how to record video game footage. There's tons of stuff there. And thanks for watching.
If you're a budding filmmaker, entrepreneur, or innovator, domain.com is the place to go when the next idea hits you. I know you've heard that the list of available domain extensions is growing, but you now have the opportunity to name your site and build your brands in ways that was never before possible. Choose from a list of 400 plus domain name extensions like .com, .org, .design, and .club. And to show you some love, they're giving you 25% off their already affordable prices when you get domain names, web hosting, and email. Just use the coupon code FILMRIGHT at checkout to get that 25% off. When you think domain names, think domain.com.
Logo.
And that's it. A massive thank you to the HitFilm team for putting together that awesome tutorial for us. They actually do a pretty great show of their own on their YouTube page, which you can find right here. You can also follow them on Twitter, right here. And I'll see you all next time when PV uses my gum to plug the leak.
That sounded dirty.